Okay. Well, that was great. Just to let you know, we're on restricted time, so just to go ahead. But it was a great conversation, and I'm glad we're having these kind of conversations. I've learned so much, and I can't wait to go into the office on Monday. I know what to do. Okay, so next up we have Meg.
Hi. Huria, yeah.
Huria.
Yeah. Hi. Hi.
Okay, so let me tell you about Meg. She looks gorgeous though, doesn't she? Yeah. So Meg is a presenter. Hey. Meg is a presenter, host, and content creator, originally from New Zealand. So
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
How long's the flight?
At least 27 hours, but it can be like 32, 36.
A day and a bit. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. She is based in Manchester, UK, so that's where all the media stuff is happening, in the middle of the country. Fun fact, I was on First Dates, this episode of me on Full On Demand. Yeah, fun fact, not to take the attention away from me, but fun fact, I was on a Christmas episode, going Full On Demand, just type in Christmas, you're going to see me there. But it was filmed in Manchester. She's an authentic and relatable with an inspiring story. So we're going to get into that. Sports and entertainment are two of her major interests and categories. So you can be confident. Be confident. Meg will bring the energy.
Okay, we're ready.
Meg will bring the energy. Okay. So Meg,
we're ready.
as I asked previously, give us a fun fact about you that we would not even think about.
Oh no. I had all that time to prepare and I didn't even think about it. I literally didn't even think. Fun fact, I'm scared of butterflies.
You're scared of butterflies?
Yeah. They're terrorizing. You don't know what direction they're going to go in when they're coming here.
Really? I understand moths.
Yeah, mud squall. Also moths. But yeah,
Are there a lot of butterflies in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Really?
Gross. That's why I'm here. No.
Okay. So you are a presenter. I mean, we were having a little mini conversation earlier on, and I'm inspired that, Meg does this full time. I haven't quite, got the plunge to be like, yeah, I'm just going to concentrate on it. But she gave me some nice kind words like, you're doing both, so that's great. So tell us about, let's go into your day-to-day life, your typical day-to-day life as a presenter and content creator. Let us know about that.
All right, cool. Day-to-day life varies. Yeah. At the moment, I've basically, because I'm full-time freelance, I've got to have a baseline of some sort, otherwise life is stressful. So I do week on, week off with a Facebook page. They need someone to present and narrate their videos for originality rules. That's how that job exists. And so they'll send me scripts, I record a voiceover component and then present on a white wall or green screen, send it back to them, they edit it, upload it to their Facebook page. And then on my off weeks, I do a bunch of different stuff, event hosting largely around esports events, F1 simulators, cricket, football sims, all those. And then I do Fiverr work, so voiceover, presenting again. Then hosting events here and there that are like one-off events, and also a bit of marketing work. That's my background. And yeah, just kind of like a media blob really, and content creation also.
Yeah. So where are you mostly on social media? What platform are you on mostly?
Historically Instagram, but I feel like TikTok is more my vibe.
Yeah. TikTok is getting there. But with the Gen Z.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know, I'm like, I'm too old to be like that. But I really, really do that.
But because it's like, I feel like it's just everyone. It's anyone, everyone.
Yeah.
I love all I feel like a weirdo, so I like that it just like embraces everyone. It's not like the celebs or like the pristine, imagery. Like it's just
Okay, so with me being a presenter myself, and I'm really trying to get into wedding MC, I have found that it's quite a male-dominated industry. Do you find that as well in the different aspects of presenting with you as well? I know you have, there's a lot of female presenters, but I don't know. For some reason, I feel like it's traditionally a male-dominated industry. So how do you find yourself in that industry and the challenges that come with that?
Definitely so. I think a lot of the challenges for me have been, obviously I can only speak on my experience, but a lot of the challenges for me have been men in decision-making positions or men in powerful positions, and because it's not, oh yeah, lads, because you're a woman, it's more just like, unfortunately, it's like they see you and think, oh, what will you do for the advancement, you know?
And that's
it's
sad.
and it shocked me like how many times I've come up against that, because I'm like, damn it, I've not even like got to the stage that I want to be at, and this is already like, in terms of like colleagues and peers and that sort of thing, I would think, I'd say historically it's a lot of like pub culture, like we were talking about before. I'm not a big fan of pub culture. I can't just sit still drinking for hours. I have to be like out doing things or like activities. I think that plays into it as well. And just, unfortunately, I still think in media there is a sense of like authority with men that women don't seem to get the same respect, or your voice isn't as authoritative for some reason. So especially when it comes to opinion pieces.
So you were previously in marketing.
Yeah.
What type of marketing did you do?
A bit of a range. So went to uni, got the degree, had a couple of contracts doing largely like B2B work. I worked with, we quickly rattle them off, like a fertilizer company, a sheep milk company. That's how you know that was in New Zealand. And then I went to a media company, which is where a bulk of my experience was. I worked in the commercial department selling advertising, initially started out coordinating advertising, went into a management role, then went into selling advertising.
Right. So
and then,
very varied. So what made you take the jump from, you know, having stability 9 to 5 in the marketing, even though you did some contracting here and there, to go straight into presenting? Well, it's similar, but it's very different at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, your first role in marketing is like you kind of, being behind the talent, and then all of a sudden being the talent. That's how I see it. So what made you transition from marketing to presenting?
Yeah, definitely an element of that, like, oh, I want to go to that side of media, like that looks cool. Definitely always loved presenting. Like if it was a classroom and it's like, okay, we're doing speeches on Friday, I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, I'll go first, I don't care, that sort of thing. But to be honest, to be straight up, it was more of a life thing. I got to like my quarter life crisis and I was like, I'm in a long-term relationship I don't think is very good. I don't particularly enjoy my job, and I've always wanted to go to the UK. And I just remember probably the decision point was I was literally sitting at home in my bedroom on the floor, like mourning a life that could have been. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this my life for the next 30 years? And that made me so sad that I was like, you know what? No, I don't accept that. And then I was like, it was within 3 months. I was like, okay, quit the job, ended that relationship, sold all my stuff, got a ticket to the UK.
You know, I'm not sure if you've seen on social media, but there's this thing trending on TikTok or on Instagram when people are like, it's that moment when things change for this person, and they have like the music playing in the background. I feel like you had that kind of moment, like, things are going to change for me and I'm going to just go for it. So in New Zealand, that's where you was doing marketing. Yeah. And then you came over here and then you just was straight into presenting. So you literally changed your life. Yeah. And literally went from the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah. And that was at the end of 2019. So it was like stunning timing.
So when the pandemic hit, did you think, I shouldn't have done this?
I was like, okay, because I got a contract, because I was like, okay, let's take a sensible approach. I'm going to get contracted like 9 to 5, what I know, my safe like marketing. And then that was like a monthly rolling contract. And I was like, oh my gosh, they could drop my contract at any moment. And then I've got to try and get a flight home, because then other New Zealanders I knew couldn't get flights home. So I was like, but yeah, we stuck it out. Yeah, well, I did 1 year. Okay. Then I went back to New Zealand for 6 months because life, New Zealand was open. I was like, you know what, New Zealand.
Wow. Okay, so when you first moved here, you was in London. Yeah. And then when did you move to Manchester?
Only in the last couple of months.
Okay, and have you found the difference between London and Manchester?
Oh my gosh, I love Manchester.
Yeah. I've heard great things about Manchester. So you said you lived up north.
Oh, I was in Sheffield briefly, yeah.
Okay, so you like, what's the difference? So you have a very good point of view, because you are not a Londoner, you're not
Nah.
from the UK. So you come to London, you've gone to Manchester, you prefer London. What's the difference between both?
It just feels lighter. Like people are happy. People talk to each other. Yeah. My umbrella flew inside out because it was windy, and this guy was like, "Oh, lass, are you all right? That nearly hit you in the face." And I was like,
"That's so nice."
Stranger, just like. But yeah, no. And also as a freelancer, like being in London is so heavy because every month you're like, okay, rent, bills, food, transport. I've walked everywhere in Manchester also, I don't have to pay for transport.
It's much cheaper up there as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So where would you like to see yourself in, the next, I'm going to say the next year, then we'll go into the next question. Where would you like to see yourself in the next year? Because I know you've just made a move now up to Manchester, and you're doing freelance work and you're working from home a lot. So where would you like to see yourself in the next year?
Yeah, interesting question. I feel like a lot of the online stuff I do is, to be honest, as a result of feeling as though mainstream in the UK might not be for me, because and a lot of the time it's because I see, like we were saying before, you see one thing on a job listing and you're like, okay, I'm out, because for me that's accent. A lot of the time it's British accent, and I'm like, okay, cool. And for like TV and radio work, a lot of the time it's British accent, Midlands accent, Bristolian accent, Southeast accent. So I'm like, okay, let me go online, because online's a bit more like global. So that feels for me like a half step, and with moving to Manchester towards doing my own business and then having that as my core offering and then dressing it up with media rather than media being the core offering. Right. So for instance, I'm in the process of putting together like an e-course, a presenting course, that like tips and tricks, that sort of thing.
Digital product,
yeah.
That's the way
and then use the media to push it forward. So that's like my little half step.
But what made you choose the UK? Why not America? Why not anywhere else? Why the UK?
I've got connection here, like I've got family here, so it didn't feel too like, it didn't feel too foreign to me. I've always wondered about the UK. It's always had like a little like, ooh, what if? America scares me, to be honest.
Totally understandable.
But at the moment, again, I'm like toying with the idea of like, okay, Middle East. I went to Saudi for a couple of months last year for work, and I loved it because it felt so much like an international hub that I was like, cool, okay. Or Sydney for the sun, because I miss the sun, but
the weather, you've got, the UK doesn't really have the best of it. So with you, so we've come from like two different panelists. We come from like, corporate city. I'm standing on business. When we come with you, we've got more creative, and I think it's more of it's a relaxed industry, but it's quite stressful at the same time. What advice would you give someone that would like to go into that industry?
If I think about like what I would have liked someone to say to me, because I can be a bit blunt sometimes. Sorry if I am while we do this. But I would say believe in magic, but don't rely on it. Okay. Because it takes a lot of hard work and determination and diligence on days when you don't want to do anything, but you have to push a wheel in motion. And actually there's a great metaphor that I love from a book, Good to Great, Jim Collins, about the flywheel and the doom loop, and you have to push a wheel and it's not going to move. Push, 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 push. No, nothing moves until you slightly tip that wheel, and then you keep pushing, and eventually it builds that momentum and it keeps going. And that's what it's like. And also, oh my gosh, this literally could go on all night if I talk about this, but I'm still learning to separate my narrative from my business. I think that's like a really key thing, because I think in the beginning I wasted a lot of time focusing on my narrative, because the career change was a lot about doing something I love and feeling more fulfilled and having purpose. That's all great to feed the narrative, but am I making good business decisions? I don't know. Am I creating this video because it's going to open a door for me, or am I creating it because it's self-satisfying?
Right.
So separate.
Thinking of the bigger picture. How this can impact the world necessarily. Rather than it just being for your own. And also water off a duck's back. That is like something that I have to like keep saying to myself.
keep it at the forefront, water off a duck's back, because people are going to question what you're doing and why, especially if you're making a career change in your mid-20s. People are going to minimize your achievements when you do have them. People are going to say, oh, you only got that because you're a woman, or because of your looks, or because you tick a box. And that's fine. Like, I don't say that to be like guarded and like rule people out, but just like to keep that perspective, like, okay, you're on your pathway, I'm on mine. Like, you might be curious about mine, but you might not get it, and that's cool. Like, no one's going to believe in you as much as you do, and that's just fact of the matter.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to open up the questions to the audience. Have you got any questions at all for Meg?
Top content creation tips.
Ooh.
Tools, practical things.
Okay.
Secrets.
I always chuck my marketing hat on. If I'm talking to a potential client, I'm like, okay, what are you trying to achieve out of this? Like, get a really juicy brief. Like, what are you trying to achieve out of this? Why? Who's your target audience? Because you need to, especially, I mean, if you're doing faceless content, it's a different story. But if you're jumping on the camera or you're showing a product or something like that, you need to be talking to one person. So who is that one person for the brand?
Right.
So, like, who's your customer? And then in terms of the actual production, oh my gosh. So you're the script writer, you're the lighting, you're the sound, you're the face, you're the editor.
It's hard work.
It is,
it's
yeah.
Hard work, yeah, content creating.
It is, yeah.
And yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, carry on.
So recently got into bulk creating, which
Right.
is
Yep.
just a dream. Tools like Trello or Notion, some people love. Get those boards going, script write, boom, 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 boom. Have a day where it's just writing, a day where it's just filming, a day where it's just editing. I think streamlining. Yeah, those would be my ones at the moment.
Okay, that's good advice.
Can I ask a
Oh,
question?
sorry.
I was just going to ask, what advice would you give to someone who's come straight out of university and want to go into what you do? Because I know that you've had some past experiences, you've done a few things before you've decided this is what I want to do. Would you suggest to someone from university maybe go straight into it and start their own business and do what you're doing, or should they
Yeah.
partner with, maybe stick to a bigger organisation and then work that way?
Yeah, definitely. If it's a little bit like, depends on your situation. If you're at home rent free, your risk assessment, you can probably throw a bit more at it and do less like 9 to 5 kind of work. If you're doing your own thing and you're supporting yourself, then I would say, yeah, get something stable going in the background. And then one key thing that I did was probably join a community radio station, because that opened up so many doors in terms of networking with other presenters, meeting people who know event organisers or PR people or promoters that then gave me a press pass to go to a gig, so then I could interview artists, and then I got the artists on the show, and then that's content for social media, which then kind of has like a snowball effect. So yeah, definitely get like a baseline, get into community radio or something similar where it's opportunity based, and then start layering up a portfolio, get the show reel, and then apply. Yeah.
Cool. We had a
I'm
question.
just going to ask about your content, so
Yeah.
I will check you out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do. But when you're saying about your content, is that content for you, for your marketing, or is it content for your clients, or is it a bit of both? How do you market yourself?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, both. Content for me can get, when like about that narrative business conversation, can get a bit like, okay, what do I want to achieve strategically? What do I want to achieve for like longer game or purpose? I think it is a slightly different approach in terms of, if it's for a client, then it's more like a faster turnaround, like the brief is more important, then are you hitting those marks, and then obviously you're deadline driven, like more so, but then for yourself I guess it's more long game. I think, does that answer your question? Yeah.
I will check it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Can I ask another question, if that's all right? So, because I'm a freelancer with a business, and I'm a bit struggling at the moment to present myself as a business, but people still call me a freelancer. What do you call yourself? Because I don't know, I think sometimes, even though I think freelancers do a very important job and they can be dropped into companies and do important work as much as the full-time people, I do think that freelancers get that kind of like negative name, because like, you're just a freelancer, do you know?
Yeah.
But that is my business and I've been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
I still have to tell people sometimes I am a freelancer with a business.
Yeah. This is, definitely something that, especially with the nature of what I do, that I've had to kind of overcome in a way. I think feedback I've had in the past is that kind of the notion of, oh, well, you're a bubbly blonde woman with a different accent, so like from down under especially, you don't, you're not really serious about your work, you're here for a good time, like it's like, that sort of stereotype. So then when you're emailing me and I'm like, okay, and this is my rate card and this is like, what's the brief, people are like, oh, we're talking business. So I think people are going to make their assumptions and then it's just being like, okay, no, but now we're talking, but So, I mean, I don't know the nature of your business, obviously, but I think it's just taking up the space. That's hard for me to do because I'm a people pleaser, but it's just like, no, now we're talking business. Like, that's the face. Now you've got the business person, so, yeah.
I had a question.
I just wanted to understand, so I follow a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
Sort of like, I like the fact that there's always content that they're always posting, either it's Instagram or like TikTok. And so my question is, I just wanted to understand, for people who use themselves, like they have a personal brand, they may be actors or actresses or musicians, and they have to like keep up. How do they sort of, what is like, I know sometimes the motive is like promoting themselves, but my question is really related to like the money-making side. Because I know for some people or some influencers who have large followings, apart from keeping their fans engaged, I know low-key getting paid. So I just wanted you to maybe like talk about like the money-making side of like content creation. How is that like? Just throw my
for me, it's come about in unexpected ways, to be completely honest. Like, I think for me, social media presence is like a little magnet that I've just laid down. And in the beginning, I was like, cool, if I churn out weekly content, engagement's going to go up, and then I'll build a community, and then it will, and it's just like, okay. And in reality, the way that opportunities via social media have come about, clients have given me feedback that it was through search. So, and I don't know what the influencers are doing, but I do actually, to be fair, I do know a few people that are like, it's not all what it seems. Like, it can look all like big and powerful, but they're still like, how am I going to make rent this month? But in terms of, how opportunity has come, through search. So clients have said, I searched presenter on Instagram and you came up, and I believe that's because I've got presenter in my name, which I know is probably really irritating for my friends.
That's exactly what I said to her.
Yeah, SEO,
Yeah, I said to her, how did you find me? She goes, on TikTok, I just presenter. I thought, maybe word of mouth. I thought she even came here. I had an event here, and I thought, she came to my event, and I maybe have forgotten, and that's right. But she's like, no, found you on TikTok. I said, okay. The content has to carry on.
Or like,
You know what, on that point, I'm a graphic designer. Somebody found me through Google, and they typed in freelance graphic designer.
Right, great.
And then she actually asked me afterwards, do I own an SEO or do I work with an SEO agency? And I said, no. I said, I do my own SEO. So that's a really top tip. If you want to
SEO is something that I just need to understand.
And like telling, like social media, especially telling the algorithm who you are all the time. Like, I'm not doing hashtags for everyone else. I'm doing hashtags for the algorithm to be like, this is about presenting. This is about music. This is about, and also randomly had a video I made about an eel when I was back home in New Zealand, because it got out of the stream and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get it back in the stream. How am I going to get it back in the stream? And then it went semi-viral, but a company contacted me and they're like, can we buy the rights to that video? And then if someone buys it of us, we'll give you a clip of the ticket. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, otherwise it's just going to sit on my TikTok. So it's like real random stuff that happens. Yeah,
It's
but...
like the things that you put effort in. Random things. I think I just told a story one time of something that happens to me and it went viral. I was like, I don't like this. This is not what I wanted to do. But yeah, it's just content really. Just telling the algorithm, as you said. But, hi, have you wondered how you can do this? Hi, my name is Whitney. I'm a host and presenter. Like you have to literally keep repeating.
Yes.
But it works. So I mean, that's how you can get your clients. Internet.
Yeah.
Is where you get your clients.
And like quickly on that, putting the marketing hat back on in terms of saying it over and over. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like a broken record. But then I'm like, oh no. Marketing hat, people need to be exposed to a message 3 to 10 times for it to actually sink in. So for you, it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry to all my high school friends, I'm saying this again. But for business, I need
and also, if someone is coming to your page for the first time and they don't know who you are, they will know who you are after you've just introduced yourself as well. So,
Yeah.
Question about something you mentioned in passing about esports.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a bit about it. I don't do any esports or anything. In my mind, it's like either things that like boys do. Or I don't know. Just tell me about how you get into it.
Male dominated.
How is it for you as a woman in that? In that sphere?
Just like, I mean, it's a lot of gaming to be fair. Gaming heavy, But then also there's like, got into it through networking, very male dominated, which I kind of like, sometimes I'm like, okay, do I need to play into this or do I need to overcome this? Like, is this like a barrier or is this like, so with that, because of the nature of it, I'm like, right, okay, let me wrangle these men. And like, it's like, da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, very male dominated, got into it through networking, only got into it last year, which was the Saudi opportunity. So it was a big gaming event, Gamers 8, and the company I worked with, they had about 20 odd sims going across this whole site, which was just like mind blowing. The amount of money they're pouring into tourism is, but yeah, that it's just fun. I think it's just the adrenaline, and especially F1, the adrenaline of it matched with events, because events, live, anything could go wrong. You got to adapt quick, sort it out. It's just very exciting, I guess. Yeah.
So were you playing the esports or were you
just hosting? Hosting people and like giving them like the rundown, like welcome. Yeah.
You can go anywhere, girls.
Literally. Yeah.
Have you got any more questions? No? Okay, can we give Meg a little Right, so I'm going to give you 1 more minute to go get refreshments.
Meg, where can we follow you? Do we just type up your name?
Meg's from NZ.
So
Classic.
follow Meg, support her.
Meg's from NZ.
Let the algorithm know that you like her. So okay? Alright, so 1 minute and then we're going to go into the third and final part of tonight. So please go and get refreshments.
Cheers.
I'm going to get refreshments because I've been talking a lot.
Thanks. Yeah. Cool.